Hi, my name is Daniel Weil. I'm Head of Research, Strategy and Sustainability for Primonial REIM. As a fund manager in the field of real estate, we are committing to having an impact on communities. But what exactly is being an impact investor? What is impact investing? We know it's a relatively new field in sustainable finance. It's even a newer field in real estate. Of course, we all have an impact, whether negative or positive. We just don't measure it. Impact investing is about having a framework to measure the impact of our activity as a real estate asset manager on environmental and social factors. Of course, for that we need a framework. The most current frameworks are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals or the Global Impact Investment Initiative. They provide a set of objectives, a set of challenges that we face as a nation, as a people, as a community, and therefore, whether we know it or not, we do have an impact on all of these challenges. We all are a part of the problem or a part of the solution. So impact investing provides that kind of framework, and impact investing funds correspond to basically 3 criteria which will help define them. The first criteria is intentionality. We need to prove that in our investment policy, in our investment thesis, we do have the intention of creating good returns. I mean by that social, environmental, positive returns in our very investment strategy. Of course, we need to write that down in the prospectus, in the investment policy of the fund, because it's a commitment. Of course, you could say that by design, some kind of real estate assets are more relevant for having a positive impact or not. Typically, Primonial REIM is a major investor in healthcare real estate. We hold 500 premises in senior care homes or in hospitals or clinics, acute care, etc. Healthcare real estate is basically a good thing for the community because there's a shortage of care, as we saw during the COVID crisis. And in this respect, developing new real estate healthcare assets is a part of the solution to that global challenge. So that's intentionality, and we need to prove that and of course show that we do have the intention of doing good things for society with our investment policy. Another example would be, of course, affordable housing. We know that cities are hurt by inequality problems, and we know that it's very hard for families to afford living in big cities in Europe because they are too expensive in terms of rent. So affordable housing with maximum rents is a part of the solution, and developing new residential units in affordable housing is of course having an impact. Intentionality is the first brick of an impact investing strategy for a real estate fund. The second brick would be measurability. It's very difficult to measure the impact of what we do socially and environmentally. We have plenty of indicators on financial returns, internal rate of returns, yield, etc., equity multiples, but we lack of data when it comes to the performance in terms of social and environmental impact. The real estate industry is currently working a large amount of databases of open data, public information sources in order to create some indicators that we can measure in order to show how we have an impact on the community. So typically for healthcare real estate, we're going to measure the number of patients, the number of beds available, the quality of rating that our premises have. Usually healthcare real estate has a score from public authorities, a score on the quality of care. So that's typically databases we need to manage and we need to show to our investors in order that the investors are aware of the impact that they have, our assets have on territories, on communities. So that's measurability. And this is, of course, a sector which is in enormous progress in terms of volume, because with the Internet of Objects and with the opening of databases, we should be able to create a set of impact indicators which will be as sophisticated as financial performance indicators. And this should be a revolution in how we see our assets and how we see our job as a real estate investor. The third criteria of impact investing, and the most important, is additionality. Additionality means what is your added value in social and environmental terms? What do you do actually concretely to contribute to the well-being of communities? And that's typically measuring, you can measure it in financial terms. For example, in healthcare real estate premises, when we improve the heating systems, when we diminish the proportion of double rooms to have more single rooms which are more convenient for people, then we have a direct impact on the quality of care, which is the core of the purpose of these assets. When we develop affordable housing, we provide to the market more apartments, more flats, more residential units that people can afford, and therefore we help them build better lives at the center of the city, closer to their places of work, closer to education services, and therefore we do improve the quality of living of real people. But we need to measure that, and we need to measure the additionality of the assets, of the investment policies that we carry out in our funds. A typical field of impact investing in real estate, as we said before, is affordable housing. There's a real shortage of affordable housing units, and we know that prices are going to get higher and higher because big cities are all the more attractive and supply can't follow. So we can't let the market alone solve this problem. There is a need for affordable housing in order to keep our cities diverse and alive. And that's where affordable housing comes in, and that's where it can be really an asset class which can deliver both impact, which is real on people's lives, but also financial performance. It's typically a field where financial and non-financial performance are quite aligned. So at Primonial REIM, we try to develop the impact dimension of our funds, and we try to promote useful real estate, such as healthcare real estate, such as affordable housing, and we try to document the best that we can, not only our financial returns, but also our social returns.